remember my husband's grandmother asking him, is she really pregnant or is she sick? Like, is there something else wrong with her? We did a monitor check, and the nurses said, no, you have to go to the hospital.
Hello, everyone. You're listening to Baby Steps, sponsored by Oxford and Soho Baby, a podcast dedicated to exploring the personal and emotional journeys of parenting from the moment they discovered they were pregnant to the birth of their baby to then raising their child. Whether you're a first time mom, a seasoned parent, or just curious about the motherhood experience, you're in the right place. I'm your host for today. My name is Medea. Today, I have Natasha, author, behavioral expert, and creator of Twin Delicious & Co., mother of two twin 13-year-olds and an 8-year-old. Natasha, welcome to the show.
Hello, Medea. So good to see you today.
Yes, I'm very excited.
I'm happy to be here.
All right. So, we're going to begin by going all the way back to the moment you found out you were pregnant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to go far, far back.
Okay. We'll go to the first one. Okay.
Yes. So, what was that experience like? Did you know you were having twins? Did you want twins? What was the experience like?
So it's funny, I'll tell you, that year in our family, we have two sets of twins. There's a boy-girl set of twins and a set of boy twins, and they're all about 18 months apart. So,
Okay.
no, I wasn't expecting it, but it's funny how that did happen in our family all at the same time. So,
Wow.
yeah, the pregnancy was a surprise to find out that we're having twins. And I have to tell you, I was also on bed rest from 8 weeks on to 33 weeks and 6 days.
Oh my goodness. What was that like?
Yeah. So no appetite. I remember my husband's grandmother asking him, is she really pregnant or is she sick? Like, is there something else wrong with her? Because I lost so much weight. I was like really, I couldn't keep anything down. And we actually, our house was built in the house that we were in, it was built in like 1890 something. So it was one bathroom and like a bunch of bedrooms. And we had done construction on the house to make it fit the two of us and eventually children, but we did not put a bathroom on the first floor. So my husband and his uncle, our uncle, built a bathroom on the first floor in 5 days.
No way.
Yeah, so that I didn't have to go up and down the steps. So my days and nights were on the couch. Yeah.
So what were you doing? Were you just watching TV?
My schedule was crazy. I'll tell you, I got up every day. So I would nap during the day. I had a neighbor next door. She was I don't know, let's say we moved there, she was 70 something. She was older, but she was like my best friend. So she should not have been driving. And sometimes I would sneak out of the house with her just to go to the diner or to get pancakes from somewhere. No one knew. That was our secret. And she probably should not have been. There was someone high above watching over us. So that
Mm,
was my little secret that we had. And other than that, I ate peanut butter and jelly. And guess who has peanut allergies today? My twin girls.
that makes sense.
That's all the longest I could stand up was like, and it was delicious. It was like my go-to. Like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna make this. Like every day, all day, that's what I made. And then my schedule was so off. I would get up every night. Like I would take like an afternoon, late afternoon nap, like let's say 4 o'clock, and that was my time to sleep. Other than that, I would stay up, I would write, I would research, I would like do all these things that I never had time to do. It was like the first time ever I had to sit and take care of myself. And I
Yeah.
had nursing, but I literally had to like move a port from one leg to the next every couple of days, give myself shots, speak to the nurses about 3 to 4 times a day. Um, that was my day. But 11:11 a.m. and 11:11 p.m., I would wake
Mhm.
up and look at the cable box. Exactly 11:11. Do you know the 11:11 sign?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
like, well,
Yeah.
can you explain it a little bit more?
It's the angel sign. So they say the 11:11 is like you make a wish or it's a sign of an angel. So that was I didn't realize it until in my time of sitting on the couch and wanting to like start to write more or to create a blog. I started to research other people like in the spiritual, I guess, genre or whatever was inspirational to me at that time because I was either in the hospital because I was bleeding so much that every single time I went to the hospital, I would say, this is the end. And every single time it was not the end. So
Mhm.
I had to have full faith in everything and really take care of myself. So that was one thing. But my daughters were born on December 31st, 2010 at 10:17 and 10:18 p.m. So being up the whole night and then looking at the clock the next day, it was January 1st, 2011.
Oh, 2011.
Yes.
Oh my God, what are the odds of that?
How crazy is that, right? So I say, even though they're 13 and they drive me nuts, I'm like, you guys are angels. You're heaven
Yeah.
sent.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm one who like I look at all the signs of things and I try to stay inspired by everything. That's the best way for us to keep our heads on straight. And
Yeah.
that pregnancy was something else where I had to use all of the powers.
Yeah. Is that what your book is about?
So my first book, Any Two Can Be Twin Delicious, was based on what I hoped their relationship would be like. So they were about 2.5 years old when I wrote it, but it was based on characters who were school age. And this is another thing. I mean, Medea, if I can tell you, let me manifest my whole life in the greatest way. I'll manifest yours also if I have the power. But so in the book, they were school age, and I wrote the book because I would come across these people that would tell me, don't dress them up alike, let them have their own personality. They're two different people. And in my head, having a background in behavioral therapy, I felt like I would walk into parents' houses and families' houses, and we would sit down together to bring peace in the house, right?
Hmm.
To help us figure out how to regulate together, right?
Hmm.
And I have these strangers telling me to separate them before they go out into the world and probably have everybody else try to separate them. So
Yeah.
I just felt that there needed to be a twin story or a book to read to twins that gave the story of sibling bonding to keep them together before we separate them, right?
Yeah.
So
I
that's
like
what the book is
that.
about. And there's a character in there. This is the whole manifesting a little bit. Not that it was done purposefully, but there's a character in the book. She's their friend Abigail, and she didn't understand why they dressed up alike and why they did things together. So she challenged them. And fast forward to when they were in second grade, there was a girl in their class named, guess what her name? Can you guess?
Abigail?
Abigail
No way.
challenge them. Yes. And Abigail actually, she didn't understand the whole peanut allergy thing. So that was the more like struggle part of it. So when the girls came home and they told me it was more one than the other, but she said to me, I'm afraid, like she says these things to me about my peanut allergy. And I said, listen, you and Abigail are going to be friends. Take this book and give it to her.
That's so smart to give her the book.
Yeah, because
That's really her story.
right. And whether or not she looked at it in a good or a bad way, just to see, like, she's giving her something. And look, your name is in there. And look, like, we're friends, right? It did make a difference.
Wow. Wow. I like that. And so she didn't understand the peanut allergy. What about that did she not understand?
She just didn't. I mean, at 8 years old, I guess you're confused as to why someone has an allergy and why they can't sit with you at the table because you're eating a certain thing. And it could have just been something that she had to grow through, right? It's maturity. Second grade, you're 8 years old. Um, so I think that it clearly passed, but I'm pretty sure today she understands what an allergy is and the
Hopefully.
extent.
So that must be hard for you having twins with a peanut allergy. Do you get nervous bringing them places?
I don't, and I have to tell you, I haven't had to. They would tell anyone at like 3 or 4 years old, we have peanut allergies, we can't have that. Or they would look at the back if someone, an aunt or an uncle or grandma would give them something, and they would say, I don't think I can have that because it has peanuts in it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, they knew, they were aware. They were not looking to be sick.
Very good. Wow. I feel like at that age, that's hard to decipher between what is a peanut, what is not, what can I eat, what can I not eat. So it's good that
Yeah,
they've learned at an early age.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I think you
cool.
become aware when you have an allergy and you have a reaction, right? Unless you if you've never had a reaction, you probably just take it for granted a little bit. But once you've had a reaction at an early age and you understand the consequence of it and you don't like the feeling, you're probably a little more aware. We
So
don't like trauma, but sometimes, I don't know, I guess it's
it
a different
teaches
level.
us.
Yeah, a different level.
So they had reactions with
Yeah.
peanuts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. And you said so a behavioral expert. I'm curious about that. I don't know what that is. So can you explain a little bit about that?
Okay, so my educational background is psychology, and I wanted to work with families and children. I had this thing in my heart, and I still do, for children on the spectrum that are unable to speak and they're
Mhm.
having a hard time to express themselves. I think that we take it for granted that we're able to be emotional people that can regulate, deregulate, and speak our emotions. And so I wanted to help families in that capacity. So as a behavioral therapist, I work with families and and I still do create behavior plans for children and families. And it's basically a write-up of your daily activities and what your goals are and how you would like um, the parent knows the child best, but me coming in as an expert in experience and how to, I guess, use the tools together, we create this behavior plan in order to get things in order. It can be like a sleep plan, it can be potty training, it can be going to the supermarket or learning the triggers of the child and how to teach them how to self-regulate or how the parent can assist the child in regulating what to do, what not to do in certain situations. And it's a lot that goes into it, but planning is the tool that you use until you get the tactics in order. And then you can put the book aside if you need to, or you go back to it for data when something else comes up because we're all growing. We have like multiple stages of our own lives, right?
Mhm.
So it's very helpful. And just recently, I started doing a behavior plan for women because when I would sit down with families, I'm usually with mom because she's the one who's home with the child or the one doing the most hands-on and rearing the child. So um, there will come a point where the service would be for mom. And yeah, because she would say, I'm having a hard time doing this. So it was a really hard night and I didn't sleep. And I would have to like bring her back to the place where you were a person before having a child. And now you have a child that you're trying to communicate and do things with, but you can't. And that's a struggle in itself. So adding on all these other layers, like your menstrual cycle, like your triggers, like your husband probably chooses a way that annoys you, right? Like those are the things that we have to like keep intact for ourselves. So I started doing that for women, starting with myself, because I would get into these creative ruts. And I knew that there was so many things that I wanted to do, but if I was off balance, I would put it off and like go back later and say, oh my gosh, I forgot that I wanted to do that. And instead, I just created a behavior plan for myself. And on my days or weeks off, I go back on my days that I'm higher in vibration and I get those things done. And then it's like, yay, I got things done. It's, on to the next month.
Hmm. So what would a behavior plan for a mother look like?
A behavior plan for a mother would look like first we would sit down and go over, of course, her daily activities and then her monthly cycle if she has one, and then her eating habits and the things that bring her joy. And then the physicalities on how physical she is and how she can be active in different ways if she isn't a physically active person. And there's 30 to 31 days, sometimes 29, right? Days in a month. But week by week, you have to look at it week by week. And you know how they say, take it one day at a time or one step at a time? You're literally
Yeah.
taking every day, one day at a time. We have 24 hours. And if you know your high weeks, once you put your behavior plan together on what your goals are, you put your creative goals in one space. I'm giving all the secrets away right now.
I love it. Tell me more.
You put all your goals in that the week where you're the most creative, your highest vibration. And then on the other weeks, you're not so hard on yourself because you know you can go back and put those things to action. But when you're on your low weeks, you should do other things that bring you joy, but keep you healthy. Like don't over binge snacking. Like instead, you like music, put the music on. Let it get you ready to be motivated for the next week. And sometimes we have to force ourselves, right? I heard this recently. It said, fake it till you feel it.
Fake it till you feel it. So there's fake it till you make it.
Right. Fake it till you feel the joy. Fake it till you feel the inspiration. Do all the things that'll make you feel the way that you want to feel.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
heard with physiology, if you just smile, it'll trick your brain into thinking that you're happy.
that's so true.
So
That's why the
just
people that
smile
smile a
more
lot, yeah,
or just happier.
yeah.
That's so interesting. Um, so back to you. let's go back to your birthing journey. How did you share the news with your partner, family, friends?
How do we share the news? I think we probably just called everyone. We're talking about 2010. There was no gender reveal going on. Plus, I was
Mm-hmm.
sick. So we just called everyone in our family and told them that we were expecting. And when we found out that there were two, I think, yeah, we were immediately on the phone with everyone, like in the doctor's office.
Yeah, and how were people's reactions?
They were excited. Everyone was excited. And then the next was, is it a boy or girl? Like everyone assumed boy, girl. And my husband, I remember sitting in the doctor's office when we had done the sonogram. I believe we did the blood test, but we were in the office. It wasn't a phone call like my son. And he said, there are two girls. And then he had to like show it again. And my husband's like, there's no way. There has to be a boy in there. I'm like, no, there are two girls in there. So of course, the family that, the shoppers in the family, they were super excited because girl clothes are just like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, everyone was really excited. They were really excited.
Amazing. What were your initial thoughts and emotions during those first few weeks?
First few weeks. Okay. So the girls were born at 4 pounds and 3 pounds, 12 ounces. And this year, there were so many snowstorms, like back to back. I think we had like a 3 day break while I was in the hospital before the next snowstorm had come. And one of the girls stayed in the hospital for 9 days, and the next one stayed for 10 days. So every day I would go in because I was nursing. I would nurse, I would bring milk, whatever. And the NICU nurses, oh, bless them. They are amazing. At least the ones that I had, they were amazing. They gave me a tool to use, and it was like do something every 3 hours because the days are long, but the
Hmm.
time goes by short. And another thing, record their sounds. Record it because these are things, and it's like a second of a sound because they change. Like, we take pictures or whatever, and videos are great, but record their sounds because when you listen back to those little coos or whatever, it's an emotional, I can't even tell you. But yeah,
Oh, so their cries change over time.
yeah. And like any little sound, like they're breathing, like it was just those are two things that I did. I listened to the do something every 3 hours to keep them on the same schedule, and then also record their sounds just for the sentimental part of it. Um, so day one, having Victoria home, it was it was surreal. It's like, oh, I have a baby home, but then in the back of my head, there's another baby coming home tomorrow.
Hmm.
And another thing the NICU nurses said, because there were so many snowstorms, when I was leaving with baby A, there was a baby coming in who was born at like 1.9 ounces. She was coming back in. She was just released and coming back in. I think she was born like 4 months before that. So she spent all this time in the hospital and she was coming back in. And the NICU nurse looked at me and said, do you see that baby? She's back here because the parents let someone in their house. Do not let anyone in your house. RSV is the worst thing an infant can get, especially a newborn. So,
Wow.
me, Mama Bear, I had a couple of unhappy family members, but I'm sure we're all over it now. But the fear, like you're bringing home first babies, two of them, and you have to worry about someone else possibly having germs, right?
Hmm.
And their immune system is super low. No one was allowed in the house, and yeah.
Yeah, for how long?
Um, it was a couple of weeks. It was a couple of
Okay.
weeks, at least the first round of shots. They wanted to make sure their lungs were stronger and developing. Yeah, so it was a couple of weeks. And I mean, they have them forever now, so it's okay.
Hmm. Wow, so that would be what were some of the most memorable moments? So we're going back to the pregnancy now. So during your
Okay.
pregnancy, what were the most memorable moments?
During my pregnancy, the most memorable moments was to watch them move around together. And yeah, either
Yeah.
at one at a time or together.
Wow. Did you go I don't know how it works. Is it every week you're supposed to go and see him?
Um, I went often, plus I was sick, like weeks at a time. I was in the hospital and they would just check me every day, so I knew that they were fine. Um, yeah, when I tell you I was in the hospital a lot, I was in the hospital a lot. That the head of the hospital, I remember him saying to me, I think I was 18 weeks, and he said to me, if I think he was head of gynecology, whatever. He said, if these babies want to come, they're going to come, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I
Mm.
looked at him and I wanted to there was fire in my eyes. Like, I'm like, you have to help me. Like, they have to
Yeah.
stay here, right? And no, it was earlier than that. Was it? I don't remember. It was between 8 and 18 because I was already on bed rest. But this is when my doctor, my private doctor said, I looked at him. He came to see me in the room and I said, I never want to come here again. I never want to be on this side of the hospital again. I didn't go back until I was around 30 weeks. And so that was a long stretch, I guess, from 18 to 30. And I said, do whatever you have to do to make sure I stay home and these babies stay in. So that's when he set up the nursing round the clock, monitoring me doing the ports by myself. And then at 30 weeks, we did a monitor check, and the nurses said, no, you have to go to the hospital. And then between 30 and the next 3 weeks, I was there. But before that, 8, 10, 12, 18, like that head of the hospital, I'm pretty sure he was just like, I'm sick of seeing this girl.
You were very strong to be able to get through that. Sounds
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. But now you're healthy, all
Yeah.
good. So
Everyone's fine. The girls play sports, they're fine. And yeah, everyone's great. Thankfully.
thankfully.
Yeah.
Um, Final question. What advice would you give to other expectant mothers who are about to embark on this journey and listening right now?
If you're a mom, a soon-to-be mom embarking on the journey of motherhood, I want to tell you that try to keep joy first. Find the joy in motherhood. There's a reason why you were chosen to be a mom to a baby. Um, Even the puppy moms, right? But a mom to a baby, you're chosen, you have a different gift, and the baby's choosing you. So together, try to find the joy in that. The days are hard sometimes. I mean, your personality is developing. You have to remember we're all people, but the beginning, you're it's best to try to remember who you are and why you're doing this in order to keep the joy.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Incredible, Natasha. Thank you so much for your time. You've been listening to Baby Steps, sponsored by Oxford and Soho Baby. If you're in the market for a new crib, glider, dresser, or even more, we'd love for you to check out our line of furniture. You can head over to oxfordbabyandkids.com or sohobaby.com. All of the links will be in the show notes. Enter the coupon code podcast10 for 10% off your next purchase, plus free shipping on all orders over $7.99. Thanks for listening and tune in to our next episode. Bye for now, and remember, every step is a step towards progress, and we hope today's story gives you the confidence and assurance that every journey is different, but we do it together. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Bye, Medea.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.